how do we do this, right? It's Jens' channel. But all right, guys. Jens is not feeling well today, so I'm just taking over to host for him, right? Let's hope I'm bold enough and funny enough to take over. Of course, good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all you guys who are around the world who are watching now or watching later, right? Of course, we have Simon with me, right? Simon says, right? I guess he's happy, and of course, we're all happy as being a Spurs fan at the moment. We won 4-1 yesterday, right? So let me see let me go in this way first, right? So, of course, this was the score yesterday, right? Spurs 4, Stratford Wanderers 1. So, did we play Stratford Wanderers yesterday? I think this is set up by Jens, so I guess we'll just go along with it. Why does Jens call them Stratford Wanderers, Simon? Do you know that?
It's just a nickname. He often does this. You can call. There's loads of different names for our London rivals. We've got. I call them spammers for West Ham. There's Chelsea for Chelsea, which is obviously after Roman Abramovich and his corrupt money. All sorts of different nicknames. They're not even worth giving them a proper name. So I'm all down for the Stratford Wanderers. I can think of many worse things, to be honest.
All right. I guess it was a good scoreline for us, but of course, there are lots of things to talk about, right? So we're all Spurs fans. We get this roller coaster ride every week, right? Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. This week we're up, so we're all up and happy now. So let's go to the lineups first, right? Okay. Were you surprised with the lineups? The original lineup.
No, it's see the lineup with that, right? I knew Son was going to be back, which is great, and I was wondering whether Richie would even be on the sub bench, to be honest, because his problems with injuries and what have you. So kind of pretty much expected lineup. I'm surprised Bentancur after his last performance wasn't starting, but that's okay. I mean, it's kind of same difference for me whether he start or Biss goes in there. It just depends really. The good thing is we've got that depth that we can swap them out and tweak it slightly and bring on. It's not like we're bringing on from the bench inferior players, is it? They're top quality players. So yeah, I was happy with that.
Yeah. For me, I was surprised that like I said, right, Bissouma, coming in for Bentancur, right? I guess in the end of the day, it did pay off in a certain way. But of course, we'll go to the full game later, right? So as we can see, the lineups usually picks themselves. If Son is here, Son will play, right? And of course, Solanke has to come in. He's our 65 million pound striker. And of course, you're talking about Vicario, Porro, Romero, VDB, Udobi. That is our staple or stable back four that we have, right? And I guess it's the midfield part where we still have a bit of choice, in between whether you want to mix it up a bit, right? Because we can go later when we talk about the second half, right? And that was a very good tactical move by Ange, right? So, and of course, Johnson, Solanke, and Son. So it is what it is. That's what we have at the front three. So I guess I'm quite satisfied with it. But of course, if we won, it's so much better, right? So, and of course, in the subs we have Foster, Dragozin, and of course Bergwijn. And none of them came, right? But let's go to the next point, right? The next point is that poor first half. As you know, I was doing the watch along, right? I was actually casting them throughout the whole watch along in that first half. And the thing is that, it looks like we're going back to horseshoe football again. And then, how would you say it? They were low blocking us for most period of time, right? And we weren't putting any shots on target. I don't think we had many shots, right? And when they countered us with one goal over the ball over the top and all that, onto the side of the wings or whatever, our defense fell asleep again. And of course, Mohamed Kudus scores, right? So, but brilliant goal by Decky, to tell the truth, right? That equalizer, right? I saw it. I mean, he cut it. I think he was on the right. He came back in and he took his shot, and it was in the near post, right? And I guess Areola got a slight touch to it, but not enough. But it still came off the post. So, would you say it was a poor first half, or would you say it was more quite balanced out? But could we give more credit because we got the equalizer?
No, I thought we had a dominant first half. We had quite a few shots. Let's not forget my man Porro, his incredible shot that so nearly went in. And Johnson had that shot, which I still don't know how that didn't go in. It's an incredible shot from him, right from cutting right across. If that had gone in, that's contender for goal of the season. And of course, Son's shot was just curled past the far post, classic Sonny curler. It was kind of warning sign to West Ham. We totally dominated them in terms of possession and that. And it's still a lesson that we have to learn for the goal in the first half, whereby when they counter, it's about watching. It's about the numbers, isn't it? It's about covering who's coming in from their team, who's flying into the penalty area. And my man Porro might get a blame for it, but to be honest, he's got to make a choice who he covers, and he decided to cover the guy that was running in, and that was 2 yards from the goal, rather than Kudus, who was 10, 15 yards out. If he'd have chosen Kudus, then they'd have cut it into the guy that's right on the goal line, and would have been a tap in, which would have been even worse, I suppose. But we were much better than them in the first half, I thought. I know they had that one shot which fought a great save from Vicario, but it was a very similar kind of thing to the goal, wasn't it? So it's a lesson to be learned there, isn't it? It's like, we can handle any team basically on the counter attack, as long as we match up with the numbers. It is what it is. It's about make sure we've got it right. And but I'm of the opinion I've been for the last couple of months actually, that even if we go 1-0 down, I'm confident we'll come back, which we did. It's kind of like the opposite, not the opposite as such, but the opposite to the Bournemouth game, wasn't it? So, but I don't think our first half was as bad.
I mean, the Brighton game. Brighton game.
Yeah. I don't think our first half yesterday was as bad as our second half.
Yeah. Big up to Eva, man. Big up. Hope you're doing well. Eva wasn't able to watch the game live, right? So, yeah. So I hope you're happy that we got the results, right? Hope you're doing well too. She had something to attend to. But to tell the truth, right? What I feel now is that somehow or another, how many games have we played at home? We've played 3 games at home, if I'm not mistaken, right? Out of all these 8 games in the Premier League at the moment. The first one was against Everton. We won 4-0. I can remember the Brentford one. We won 3-1 again, right? And that one we conceded first again, and we came back stronger, right? And of course, now this game, apart from that, all the other games in the Premier League, I think we will be playing away. Have we played another game at home? I think there's 3 games at home. What I've
Premier League game, yeah,
Premier League games. What I've caught on now, right, from Angus, right? When we're at home and when we lead, right, he adapts. He adapts well, and he adjusts well. And I think he doesn't want to lose at home, because if he loses at home, right, if he does something wrong at home, right, the home fans will be shouting at him, because I think a lot of people yesterday in the stadium, when he brought on Wiener for Son, everyone was saying, "What the hell were you doing?" Right? But I've got a theory for that, right? And I think me and Jens said it yesterday on the show, right? You can't not bring on Wiener because he's paid 165k a week, right? So somehow the Ange has to prove to Daniel Levy, right, that he wanted this player, and so he has to play him, right? So, and it takes away the chance from the youngsters. But we'll go on to that, right? For the first half, I say it was poor. I think we were trying, but not getting the results that we want, right? Like you say, we were dominant, but I don't think that we're that poor. But at least we still got the equalizer in that first half. That's all I can say, right? And it is what it is. Yeah. And we build from there. right? And of course, from there on, we can go on to this one. In the second half, we steamrolled them. Pwapa, naughty. Is it properly? This is all Jens doing in the banners in the back room. So I'm just following what he's put up there. Right. So second half came out. We can go back to the lineup. Right. We can see the subs coming up. Right. The first one that came in the second half was Sa for Madison. And me and Jens were actually surprised and said, why are we taking off Sa? Again, I mean, why are we taking off Madison and putting on Sa during the watch along, right? And it paid off, right? I think maybe Ange spotted something in that game and he tactically made a move. And that is what we want to see. And it's not just we wanted to see this in the home games, right? Like especially, like I said, during the Brentford game, we adapted to, we sat back, we counter-attack. And then in this home game, we more or less did the same thing, right? But we went out strong in the end. I think by the time we two goals up or one goal up, we were more or less, sitting back and let them come at us, and we went at them, right? So, your thoughts on the second half? We properly steamrolled them. Yeah, we properly steamrolled them.
Yeah, do you know what? Andrew said in an interview that the reason for the substitution, bringing Sarr instead of Maddison, was he wanted a stronger running in the midfield. And you could see just on the stroke of half time, as he turns around to go in the dressing room, he points at Sarr and says, "You're going on." He looked at Maddison and looked at West Ham, and basically what all West Ham have got is like a physical presence. They obviously work a lot on their upper body strength and whatever, and that. But they're a team of individuals. They're not an actual team. They don't work well as a team. Basically, a couple of individuals that can play good football, like Bowen and stuff like that. And he could see. I think he could see at halftime, and I think that's what he said to him. It's like, we can take control of this. That midfield, we take control of it. We're going to thrash these. They've got nothing in midfield except a physical presence, which is why I want a stronger, quicker runner in midfield there instead of Maddison. So they brought Sarr on. Simple as that. It's just to basically upgrade that in terms of physical side of things, and it works bang straight away. Like and I tell you who else helps with that and came so close to getting man of the match for me was Solanke. For that equaliser and for the third goal as well. He drops into our own half and wins the ball. He fights for the ball and gets it. And even if he loses it, he gets it back. And he then flicked it for the first goal. He fought for the ball, flicked it over to Maddison. And then Maddison just did a straightforward run with the ball and then pass it to Kulu.
Yeah.
Then scored. So it's Solanke and Sarr just owning that midfield, which it's against the physical side is exactly what you needed. We out-muscled them. We showed them up for what they are, which again is just a bunch of individuals. That should reflect exactly where West Ham should realise where they are. They are getting thrashed at home by any North London team. Any London team can thrash them. Palace, Chelsea, Arsenal, whatever it is. Although I'm not so sure about Arsenal because Gooners got humiliated yesterday. I don't know if you saw the highlights. It was a beautiful day yesterday.
That's why it's a good day for us, right? Because we won and they lost, so right? To Bournemouth, right? But there's a bit of controversy there. Of course, there was the celebrate card and all that, but we don't care. We'll take the Bournemouth win.
There's no controversy at all. In fact, the only controversy was the referee didn't send him off in the first place. Had to go to VAR. It's quite simple. If you're the last defender and you pull someone down, you go off. Simple as that.
Yeah,
there's no controversy.
Black and white, right? In the rule books, right? Yeah. At least Simon, to tell the truth, right? I think what Lopetegui is having a problem now is because he's got a whole new team to build and gel. Because I was doing a show with Keshaf, remember? The West Ham fan, Malaysian West Ham fan, right?
Yeah.
Practically his whole back line is different, from last season. And he's got a bunch of moist players. So I guess to instill his style, right, he's doing like what a lot of people are saying, like he's doing what Ange is doing, right? Just sticking to his guns and let the players try to play out the way that he needs them to play. So as I see it now, right, for West Ham is right whether they're going to stick with him, give him enough games to build something because they've spent a bit of money, right, in upgrading the squad. I was talking to Keshav, right? You got Todibo. We were hunting down Todibo for the past 2 seasons, and we never got him. Right? Instead, we got Archie Gray. So, and then there's the Archie Gray, conundrum now, right? Where everybody's saying whether why isn't he playing as a 6 in the midfield? But I keep telling everyone, right? This season, Archie Gray has been brought in to play as a defensive player, not a midfielder, right? So that's why you see Archie Gray going all the way to the left to take over from Udogi in the 88th minute. But we'll come to that too, right? Because this West Ham team in the second half, right, they came out, right, and I felt they lost a sort of, when West Ham used to come to us, right, they are basically like bulldozers, right? They will bully us, they will push us, they will, but this West Ham team in the second half, I didn't see any of that. There wasn't intensity, there wasn't any fire, and maybe after Moyes has left, right, they're lacking something at the moment. So maybe the manager at the moment will have to take a bit of, I think he usually will have to take full responsibility for his actions. But will he be given time, right? Big up Elias, hope you're doing well, right? Elias was at one of another watch-along party, right? I hope it ended well. Well, I'll call you later and have a chat and see how that go, right? But in this time, I'm happy because number one, this is our first win in 8 London derbies, because the last 7 London derbies we just drawn 2 and lost 5. So it's a good stepping stone for us to build on it, right? Yeah, and Elias says it was good. Yeah, I'll catch up with you later, right? So with this lineup, right, and we can go further down now, right? We were comfortable by the time Son was subbed off, and I see this trend with being Spurs, right? When we score, we tend to score them in a certain period of time, like within 15 minutes or so, we go bang, 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 right? They go in if we are clinical enough, right? And honestly, right, we were saying earlier, right, when Son was stopped for Wiener, we all was going, what the F was going on, right? Why couldn't he bring on Mikey Moore or something like that? But I was hoping that one thing is that more youngsters were able to. I mean, we already, 4-1 up. Why didn't he bring on the youngsters earlier? That's the thing. But we can go to that.
Purely for that reason. So when you're 4 up, you've got a commanding lead. You would need experience just to see the game out. You can't see the game out with youngsters that are so enthusiastic and so keen to impress and so good that they can make rash mistakes. And then before you know it, it's 4-3. And then they're fighting, they get a deflected corner header in the last minute and then it's 4 and we've lost the lead. So you need experience in order to see a game out. Now, Werner, whatever you want to call him, obviously he came on because Son's fitness is not quite there yet. So that's fine. Happy with that. And he is good at getting the ball, but also finding himself space for himself to control the ball down that left flank there from the halfway line onwards. And he's been presented with half a dozen opportunities to score and hasn't taken them. That's fine. We've got other players for that. So Werner is there to literally control the ball and make sure that we still have the experience to see the game out, which is what we did. Same with Benson Core, and Gray being a kind of like defensive midfield role, did a great job for the few minutes he was on. His job is literally being told any stray balls, just pick them up and get it out there as quick as you can. The whole fresh legs kind of scenario. Like at that point, he's going to be quicker than any West Ham player, so he can nip the ball off them and just give it straight away out to the wings and then control the game and see it out. So I think from Ange, I think all credit for yesterday's win is down to Ange. He could see what was wrong before halftime, obviously, and made the perfect change for it. And Sarr, got an assist for Sonny for his goal and just controlled that midfield. Whereas Maddison, I don't think could. The thing is, so that pass that Sarr did to Son for his goal, Madders could make that, but he couldn't get the ball to begin with. He couldn't wrestle the ball off a West Ham player in the midfield. He hasn't got the strength to do it, whereas Sarr has.
That's true.
That's the key thing.
So yeah, I think that first substitution was more or less a stroke of brilliance from Ange, right? But now the question will come in, right? Why can't he do that when other teams and other games are on? Like especially talking about the Brighton game, right? Where he turned around.
He shouldn't need to. He shouldn't need to. The same set of players went 2-0 up. So why can't the same set of players control the game and see it out?
Yeah, but then once you start crumbling, right, you should start making changes against him.
If it's a player's responsibility, then they should sort it out. They're the ones that started losing individual battles all over the field. Start winning them battles. You come in, bring in new players. They're fresh players. It's like, they might or might not make a difference. Ange picked them, and they went 2-0 up, and he was justified in his selection of that team that was out on the pitch because they went 2-0 up. So sort it out. You've made that got to 2-2, and just thinking you guys have made this problem for yourselves. You sort it out.
But then we didn't sort it out. But yeah, that was a different game. Yeah. But okay, coming down to this, right? So in their day, I guess we performed to the levels that we expected to, right? Because number one, we're at home, right, Simon, right? So you need to win at home to at least get that home crowd supporting, right? If not, if we weren't, because I guess when they scored in the first half, right? Were you actually any nervous to say that we might not be able to get back into the game?
No, not at all. I was concerned for Udogie because that was terrible defending. He was at fault for the goal. Udogie just for some reason went for a header, didn't win the header, went for a tap to tap the ball away and lost that, and then went up to Bowen, but didn't get goal side of him. Just let him go, down the byline, and just let him in. He just let him in. He just stayed not goal side of him, stayed pitch side of him. So just let him just walk that ball in and cross it in. Like, what are you doing? So I was concerned. Like, what is Udogie doing? And start thinking who else could we replace him for that? Because that's a mistake that he made for the goal. He was totally at fault for that. But again, knowing Udogie and what we've seen of him, he likes to make up for that. And put in a faultless performance apart from that. But that's what it's always going to be with Spurs now. It's always going to be that, isn't it? It's like that one little mistake in the Premier League can cost you. And that's what it's going to be for us. Just a slight lack of concentration, a little bit of falling asleep. But it's okay because our reaction to it is the key thing. And I think these days to expect a clean sheet against anybody except, the likes of Southampton or Leicester. I'd say Leicester, obviously we didn't get a clean sheet against them, but except the very
teams like that,
right? You've got to expect a goal from them, haven't you? It's the Premier League.
Yeah, this Premier League, right? But of course, big up to Cam Tinley. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, exactly. And should make the players take responsibility. And Elias here, he's saying that it was Poros. I thought who was at fault for the first goal.
Well, that's the thing, Elias. It's not at fault for the first goal because if you watch it on the replay, if Udogie just doesn't let him walk the ball in, Bowen walk the ball in for the cross, then Porro hasn't got a choice to make. Porro made the choice of going for the player that was 2 yards from goal, naturally thinking it's going to be a tap-in for him if I don't get him. But it didn't. It went to the other one. And then, there's nobody to cover. There's nobody to cover. We'll run out of players. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, we need to have those numbers back just for the one-on-one thing. We do a one-on-one with all the players on a counter-attack. It's not a goal. Simple as that. But Porro did his best. He made that decision to cover one and not the other. So...
And to tell the truth, right, Simon, I think Bowen and Kudos gave our wings, right, on the wings, right, they were running them around, right, they were running circles around them, right, whenever they had the ball. And I think when the second half came on, I think Lopetegui made a bit of switch, right, when he put Bowen back into the center, when he took off Antonio, and that's when they think they've lost their target man kind of thing. So yeah, but it is what it is, right? It was a good game. It was a good scoreline for us. It bolsters up our goal difference is the first thing, right? And from there on, let's see who will man of the match. Yeah, who's your choice?
Oh, it's a tough one because my own personal one is always Porro because I love the man. But did you see, by the way? I don't know if you saw Porro. I mean, obviously, he had that shot in the first half, which was so close.
Yeah.
Did you see the scissor kick one he did? Did you see the scissor
Yeah,
kick one?
yeah.
I mean, oh, God, if that goes in, that's goal of the century. That anyway. Like you said earlier, Solanke very close to man of match because although he didn't score, and I think he only really had one opportunity. He did so much work off the ball and in our own half and winning the ball back. And he's such a great unit. It's what we've been crying out for ages. You know, if he gets the ball, he's going to keep that ball on the counter attack for everybody to flood forward. And there's nobody's going to get off him. And even if it ricochets away from him, he goes and gets it back and play. It's such a vital, important role in the team now, which we didn't have before he came. But for me, Kulu. I mean, absolutely, Kulusevski was man of the match for me. Just a phenomenal appointment. Reminds me of quite a few flashes of Chris Waddle back in the day. You know, just like the whole swagger and the unbelievable ball skills and the vision.
The pressing, right? And the strength he has.
The vision as well. Like that third goal, the own goal, right? You know, before he gives it to Son, he doesn't even look where Son is. So he's got the ball. Son's coming from behind him. Yeah. And he's going crossing behind him. He doesn't even look.
Yeah, I think it was like
Cruyff's turn. Look. Now he did look like 5 seconds earlier when he was 20 yards back. He had a quick look and saw Son making a run. He knew what kind of run he was going to make, but then didn't even look and gave it to him. And then, you know, it's some might say it's a fortunate goal. I've actually felt sorry for Areola because I really rate Areola as a goalkeeper. Thought he did really well against us. He's a really good goalkeeper with shitty defense in front of him.
That's true.
And he nearly saved Kulu's goal, and you know they've credited him with the own goal, but which is obviously the usual Premier League stupidity.
I think the goal. He parried the ball. It hit the defender and bounced in, right? So why is it credited to him?
Because the last touch had a very slight touch on Areola as it went in, and they're saying that
it double bounce off him.
Yeah, exactly.
He carries it, hits the defender, and hits him and goes in.
Yeah, it's the usual Premier League stupidity. I felt sorry for him in that sense. But like Kulu was absolutely incredible. Just completely owned everybody, just that new role that he's got, much more central role and slightly deeper, is working so well for him. And I think he's going to go from strength to strength now. He's so much different than playing out on the right and than what he was last season and some of this season. Absolutely brilliant. What about you for man of match?
I'm, for me, right? Okay, before I go to the man match thing, guys, there's about 9 or 10 or 11 guys in the chats, right? Please go over to RickyVillaTV. Please subscribe to him and smash a like, right? Right, he's a part of Spurs Vision TV now, and of course to Ryan, big up to Ryan. Hope you're well too. I'm okay. Of course I'm well, right? Spurs won 4-1 yesterday, Ryan. I hope Huddersfield did well yesterday. I think Huddersfield is trying to get out of the championship. But guys, thanks for your support, right? My man of match, I was going between, first my first pick is always Sonny, right? But Sonny wasn't quite there yesterday, but he scored one, and to tell the truth, right? That is the type of thing, right, we want to see from Wiener. Again, that is what the thing I like to see. And what does Ryan says? Yeah, Ryan's happy too, right? We won 3-1 yesterday. Yeah, that's good, Ryan. Right. I mean, 2-3 steps over, go to the near post and slot it in. Yeah, that's our son, you see. But apart from that, in the first half, me and Yes was saying, was Sonny doing okay in the first half and all that, blah, blah, blah. But he turns up, he puts 2 goals in. I think that we can say the third goal was more or less created by him because he took the shot, it bounced off the goalkeeper. if the defender wasn't there, right, I think the ball will be tapped out straight to him, and he will have a second chance, right? If I see the trajectory of the ball, right? But it hit the defender, and it was so weird. That third goal going in, it was like, was it the second goal or third goal? The third goal, right? Sonny scored the third, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, he scored his fourth goal.
He scored the fourth goal. The third goal was an own goal. When the ball rolled in that sense, right, it was like, and we were going, is it going to go in? And somehow or another it ends up behind the net. So yeah, we'll take it, right? Like what you say.
He was walking a lot just before he came off. About 10 minutes before he came off, he's just walking really. He's obviously not up to fitness yet. Even for the second goal, he had a part in that, but he literally walked. He flicked it over from the left hand side. Started that movement, which led to the second goal. But he walks for. You can see Bissouma's goal. Like he doesn't even have the energy to run up and celebrate with him. He just turns around to the crowd over on the left hand side and is doing that. And I thought, he's absolutely knackered. So thankfully, Ange did the right thing and brought him off. And then brought on the poor man's son to replace him.
He's not a poor man's son, bro. He's earning 165K. 165,000 K, right? 165,000 K. He's not poor. Like I said, my theory to that is that Ange has to play him because the price tag is there for his wages, so there's a proof to Levy. At least he's using him.
I know what you mean. That's so funny and everything. But
you'll be asking Ange, why aren't you using this guy? Right? You're paying his salary so high.
Yeah, then there is that, but I think he's just the most likely replacement, and he does a good job of holding that.
But Simon, if Odebear comes back, right, I think Odebear will take over that spot because we've seen it a lot.
Interesting, slightly different player, but Odebear's more of a roamer, isn't he? He'll steam down that left and go right to the byline, but he can also cut in as well. So I think. When Odebear comes back, I think Ange will use him depending on the team that we play. I think against West Ham, he wouldn't have brought him on at all. Just because physically he would have got muscled out of the game. As soon as he got on the ball, he would have been shoulder barged off it and wouldn't have had a look in. But we've got Palace coming up, of course, next Premier League fixture. Against them, I think it would work, But we shall see for that. Yeah, interesting. Good to have options, though, isn't it?
But my choice of man of match, right, to tell the truth, it'll still be Decky, right? Like even Elias is saying it's Kulusevski, right? So because I was looking at the game, because I noticed this game, right? We were pressing, but we weren't pressing like crazy. You guys, it wasn't like the Brighton game when we were pressing like crazy in that first half, right? And we were up 2-0, and all of a sudden it's like it's like there's no more gas in the fuel tank. That's why maybe they just all faded out. But in this game, I saw them, they were very calculated in the presses, and it wasn't all gung-ho, going all out crazy. So I guess that maybe saved us a bit of energy, right, in coming into it, right? So guys, we've gone to the man of the match part. On what? Get the banner thing out. I hate it when it's slow internet. Okay. All right, let's get rid of the man of the match thing. Where is that man of the match sticker? Hold on. Yeah, you hate it when your mouse doesn't work, right? Okay. Okay, let's hide this. All right, guys, we settled this game, right? Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, we got a game coming up. I'm not mistaken, we're at home again, right? This one to AZ Alkmaar. Home to AZ Alkmaar. Right, AZ Alkmaar is Dutch, if I'm not mistaken, right? Alkmaar is a Dutch team. Oh, Jens isn't here. Okay, yeah. Amsterdam. But Alkmaar is not in Amsterdam, right? Ajax is. PSV, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just strolling off here. But okay, against Alkmaar in the Europa League, your thoughts?
I think it's going to be a similar approach from Ange as it was against the Ferencvaros team. And I think it'll be a similar score, 2-1, 3-1. I love these games. I love seeing teams that we know next to nothing about, because everybody wins. You know what I mean? We're favourites to win, and it's that unknown quantity which makes for a good watching, for the neutral as well as Spurs fans, but also everybody learns something. It's the unpredictability of it. All the players, it's like, seeing new players they've never played against before, as opposed to having just played against players they play week in, week out against. So I think it's really interesting and exciting. I'd love us to be, caught unawares, go 1-0 down again, and then learn something from that, and then do the same, come back and win 3-1, which I think is my prediction for that. And then because you learn something every time doing that. Do you know what I mean? Everybody benefits. As long as there's not a capitulation like the Brighton second half, then we'll be fine. We'll be fine. It's good because it's the Champions League in itself is just dead and buried now. It's just horrible to watch. There's no point in watching it anymore because of the way they've set it up and everything. So everybody's now turning to the Europa League and the Europa Conference as like, right, I want to watch a decent game of football, So I think that's what it'll be. And I think chance for the youngsters, do you think, maybe to come out?
Yeah, the thing is that Troy Parrott is coming back. That's one thing, right? Coming back to us. If I'm not mistaken, we actually sold Troy to Akma, right? We're not even put him up on loan. He's been outright sold, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? So, welcome back, Troy, right? And of course, Jens has got his predicted lineup. But got to remind Jens, right? Jet Spence is not even registered to play in the Europa League, so we have to take him out, right? And of course, this is his predicted lineup. We take out Jet Spence, right? Let me. I'm going to do this. Hold on. Can't have Jet Spence there. I'll have to edit him out, right? So
I'm interested that Jens has got Archie Gray starting there. I'm not sure about that, but it might do. Yeah.
But Gray will most probably play either, like, the last time we played Ferenc Vasquez, right? Left centre back. Right? Who can we put in?
On the left, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, left centre back. So Draguzin VDV. Will he play VDV? Right? Because the last time what we saw was Draguzin and Davis, right? Or Ben Davis, Davis played left.
VDV and Davis, wasn't it?
VDV Davis.
Well,
right.
no, actually, Draguzin, was that when Draguzin got sent off, was it?
Right, that means Poro will have to play.
I think he'll flood the team with youngsters. I think there'll be about 3 or 4 in there. Great opportunity to give them. And again, if we go 1-0 down, 2-0 down, I'll bring them off and bring the experience back in. It's the best way of doing it. Again, it's about taking control of the game, not letting them have a look in, and then see how they react to that. But with this, which is in the normal way, but I think with this, he'll put at least 2 more youngsters in there alongside Archie Gray, and just, again, like we did before, a scattering of experience.
Because against the that Hungarian team which we named Dave, right, last week.
Yeah,
we named Dave. On the bench, right, in that game we had Lancashire, Dorrington, Moore. Who else was there? Right, we had a whole slew of youngsters on the bench, right? So whether this time will there be any changes, and of course he did have Madison, the 5 main players that came on after that. So at this moment in time, as I see this, right, if Ange goes into Thursday, Vicario will be there, right? I think Vicario needs to be there, right? Whether he uses Poro or Gray as a right back, that's another question coming in. You understand what I'm saying?
But he always uses Poro no matter what. He always has done. So
if Poro isn't there, then Gray will be there. Because the last game I remember, it was Poro and Moore on the right. Poro was the right fullback, and Moore was the right wing, at right wing or something, right? So yeah,
it's basically doing what Kulusevski was doing yesterday. Starting out and then cutting in and owning the middle of the park there, and did really well. I think this is a great game for Charleston to come in and lead, and I think
Why Wiener?
Yeah. Well, again, so you need a backbone of experience in there, but to kind of like the flesh of the youngsters to do all the work really. Rena and Davies, they're going to be there just to guide everybody else
But,
along and say, right,
but
this is
Lyman, right? For this scenario, right? You could take him. I mean, if you don't play Wiener, right, you could put Richie on the left too, right, and bring in Solanke.
Richie does better on the left, doesn't he? Yeah.
You do that too, right? But we don't know. This is just a predicted lineup. I'm not sure.
Mm.
What's your thoughts on the predicted lineup for this Thursday game coming up?
I think it's mostly right there. I think Bentancur and Gray will be in there. I think the back four will probably the back line will probably stay more or less the same as it was yesterday. Not sure about Bergvall, but yeah, I agree with Werner and Richie in there. I think Solanke will be keen to score. I don't think he's scored enough yet, so it's either going to be Solanke or Richarlison, isn't it? I think Richarlison will also be equally as keen to come back. I think Richarlison will start, but probably get subbed off after 65, 70 minutes because, again, it's coming back from fitness. Johnson will be probably needs a bit of a rest, I think, so I don't think he'll play. But again, all the big guys will be on the bench if needed. So I think, as I was saying earlier, like I think
if we don't play Johnson, who's going to play on the right? You putting back Kulusevski? I think.
But again, Mikey Moore could go in there.
Mikey Moore could take his spot right on the right. Yeah.
And just again, my favour would be towards the youngsters. Just chuck them on even till half time. You know, just see how they get on. Give them a chance. Give them some minutes. And really send a signal that we can bring the youngsters through. We can play them in big games because it's still a big game. And let's not forget, we play on Thursday, but we also then play on Sunday, which is pretty soon afterwards, with Crystal Palace. So he wants to save as many first team legs and energy as possible, especially for Son.
Yeah, and that's another London derby, right? If you're not mistaken, Crystal Palace, right? And we've never done well there. Yeah, we've never done well at Palace, so maybe he'll be saving some legs. And when it comes to the youngsters, right, we're going to really save some legs, right? So that means, but okay, the first question is that, do you think Ange will rate Alkmaar that highly? The levels, what level do you put Alkmaar at? I'm not sure whether you're familiar with the Dutch league, but do you see Alkmaar being at that level of maybe a Roma or a Galatasaray or something like that? Or are they at the same level of the Dave and Carryback, right?
Yeah, the latter, yeah. I think the same level as Ferencváros there, where I think they're more like the equivalent of probably like a Leicester or a top of the championship kind of team, like a Sunderland or something like that, where they're definitely dangerous, but our quality and experience will outshine them overall.
I've got a question. Is Rangers better than Alkmaar?
Oh,
that's the question there, right? Because to tell the truth, right, I don't rate the Scottish League that high because Rangers will be Rangers, right? But if we go away to Rangers, then maybe the atmosphere will affect us. If we are playing at home, the Rangers, I think we just steamroll them. Right?
Well, it's a good point because if they are of that kind of equivalent standard of Celtic, then who better to know how to deal with them than Ange? You know,
that's true. That's true. Right. Let's see what Elias said. Alkmaar isn't that easy. Okay. Yeah. Elias says it won't be that easy. If Alkmaar won't be in a walkover, next question is, will Ange actually put up a strong team, right? But I think in this cup run and all that, we've seen him, he's not doing it. I think there'll be a wholesale changes again, up to 6, 7, or maybe 8 players coming in and out, right? And of course, he's got one eye on the Crystal Palace game, resting players like Son. And I think Decky needs a rest, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, Decky has played all 8 Premier League games, plus all the cup games at the moment, so he's put in a lot of games in his legs, right? And not to say the international games, because he's the captain of Sweden now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
right? So he's put in a lot of games in this. 2 months of
But
of
at
the
the
year.
same time, he, because of this resurgence and being again leveling up of his own self, he'll want to play. He'll want to play as much as possible to keep proving
Yeah,
that he is.
he might not start. I'm saying he might not start. I'm sure he'll come on, right? Because I think Ange knows that the players need to play to keep that momentum up, but he might not have them play the full game, right? Because what I'm seeing now, out of all the players, right, I think in the Premier League, right, Decky has played mostly all 90 minutes plus in the Premier League, full, right? So that's one thing. But the thing is that, yes, Elias, we know Troy Parrott is in Alma. Yeah, we were saying earlier, right? Parrott, welcome home, right? Whether maybe we'll give him a consolation goal, right? And Spurs is a weird thing, right? Apart from the Everton game, of course, this is Europe, right? The other one was Karabakh. We were down to 10 men, but we still beat them 3-0. Don't be surprised, Troy Parrott will score first. We'll concede first, right? And Troy Parrott will get his consolation goal, right? Can see him scoring one against us. Yes, I know, right? So most probably it'll be another 4-1, 4-2 scoreline for Spurs again, because remember, we are an attacking team and we are comfortable in conceding. Right.
I think like I say, we'll start with 3 or 4 youngsters in a team, and then if it's a situation at half time where it's like 1-1 or still 0-0, I think he'll bring on the experience, just control the game and see the game out. And don't forget we're at home, so
we're at home too. You see this. So if you're gonna bring out the youngsters, which youngsters will be coming on? I think it will be Bergwall, Moore, and Gray. These 3 are shoe-in, right, to come on, right? Because we still have got Lancashire, Dorrington, and I think Devine is out, right? That day there was a guy called Casanova. That was a good name.
Yeah. Casanova, yeah. That's what I mean. He has brought them on before in games, so I think he'll give them a start. As many as possible.
Yeah, that's possible, right? And
because we've got that home advantage, and it's difficult to play at such a stadium like ours at the best of times. But
it's 5 in 8 games for them. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean they'll be relying on him, and that's all the bloody commentators will go on and on and on about, isn't it? So all fucking games. So sure, yeah. I mean, if he gets a tap in, that'll be something for the paper writers to write about. But to be honest, like I say, it's about getting control of the game. If the youngsters can do that in the first half, they'll stay on until like the 70, 80-minute mark. And then if it's still...
I think they'll stay on until about 70th minute mark, because Ange will let the more experienced players come on to have a run out of the game, keep that engine momentum still running in them, right? So
just score, because the youngsters get a rush of blood when it comes to being in front of goal. They might not be as accurate as our normal guys, but again, if they're controlling the game, like he's going to tell them to do, then a 2-1 win, they'd be happy with that. It'd be fine.
2-1, 3-1, right? Your predictions?
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1.
Okay, 3-1 to Spurs. All right.
Yeah.
This season, I'm going to be the 4-2 guy, right? 4-2. Yeah. I nearly got there yesterday, right? Nearly got there. Right. Yeah. Needed West Ham to score 1 more, but they didn't.
How do you think I think? I predicted 4-1, and then we were 4-1 up with half an hour to go. I was just like, oh my god.
But they still couldn't score, so we got the win, right? But I guess that will be an interesting game coming up, right? And most probably we'll talk about the Crystal Palace game next. Oh, but next Sunday, Jens will be. Okay, he says he's traveling, so he won't be free. Well, let's see how it goes. Right, maybe
hopefully we'll have the ends and Kev back as well. Once Kev's got technical problems, so hopefully he'll be sorting them out in this week. And then hopefully Jens has sorted out. They've recovered by a headache from then. I should think so. So get well soon, Jens. And then we'll try and do around the same kind of time, because obviously kickoff is at 2:00 British Standard Time. So it'd be good to get one in before kickoff. Yeah.
Because it'll be 9 p.m. Yeah. Maybe if not, then I'll do it for Jens at the same time for next week if Kevin's free, right? All right, guys. Any other business? Anything else you want to talk about? Oh yeah, the red card.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
that was a
course.
good thing,
I mean,
right?
it really showed up West Ham to be the kind of mentality that they've got. Yeah, it's the same with all bullies, isn't it, Eugene? It's all bullies. Once you stand up to them, they don't like it and they have a little hissy fit when they realise everybody knows you're not as big and powerful as you think you are. So they have to kind of lash out. And I'm really proud of our players because that they didn't retaliate that much. Because if that was me, I'd have run over there. I'd have been on the bench and I'd have run over there and tore his fucking head off. Was an absolute prick.
No,
And
but what I liked is, right, it showed that our players were standing up for our players, right?
yeah,
Instead of walking away, right? It's like the whole team came out, apart from I heard Wiener walked away from that fracas. So that shows what he is, right, at the moment. Maybe that's why I think he's feeling left out at the moment. So, but he should have joined in, right? Put a few punches in and at least get the fans, riled up that he's for it, right? But he didn't. He walked away. But what I liked was that when that happened, even Vicario was there, if I'm not mistaken. He ran off from his goalpost and he was standing in between all of it. But I like to see that passion, right? And because guys, it's a London derby, right? We expect things like this to happen.
yeah.
Right? Even during the Arsenal game, when Vicario had his hand holding who? I can't remember. There was one fracas that happened early in the first half. Then after everything dissipated, and then everything became dull. Right? We want to see that kind of fire, especially in a derby, right?
Yeah,
see the players show that the passion that they have, right, for the game and for their own. It's like protecting your own, because VDV was on the ground. I know the ball was next to VDV, right? But Kudos shouldn't have been just kicking and kicking and kicking, and it looked like he was actually trying to kick the ball. Right, so yeah, but and I'm not sure what VDV said to Kudos, because when he stood up in the replays,
he said, "Are you stupid?" He said, "Are you stupid?"
Yeah, he said he was pointing to his head, right? Are you,
He said, "Are you stupid?"
Yeah, and then that's when it all went off, right? But
and then he lashed out. So the answer was yes, I am stupid. I'm not going to lash out.
And he lashed out, and somehow another Richie comes in, bumps into him, and his head goes back and smacks right into Richie's face, and Richie goes down rolling on the floor, holding his face.
It's like if you could show like an alien that whole scene and say spot the Brazilian, he'd have picked out which person straight away.
Yeah, and the weird part is that, right, and then he goes around and then he punches out at Sa.
Yeah,
imagine that he actually punches out at Sa. So and luckily Sa goes backwards, right? He shimmies backwards.
But I mean, the referee, right, gave him a booking. Surely hands to the face is an automatic sending off anyway. Let alone
And the weird part is and the weird part was, right, he gives the yellow card first, right? Then only VAR intervenes. I was like, why didn't VAR intervene earlier before he gives the card?
Yeah,
is there some kind of
maybe they didn't catch it because it's dependent on the cameras, isn't it? So
come on, you can't not catch that, right? At VAR.
Well, if you're the referee, what else are you watching if you're not watching what's going on in that scrum there?
We are watching the game. We can catch it straight away, right? He pushes VDV in the face. If there's a fracas going around, he comes out the other way, and Richie hits it, bumps his head into him. Right, he goes the other side and he punches Sa, and then I was weird. I thought it was going to be straight red. Then all of a sudden it became 2 yellow.
Yeah, it should have been straight red.
Yeah, but I think the yellow for VDV still stands because he cancelled the yellow for Kudos, right?
Probably for the push. I think.
Yeah, the one's for the push. The for VDV still stands, right? But cancels the yellow for Kudos and gives him a straight red. But and then it added on 7 more minutes to the game.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Love it.
And by the time I think all the West Ham fans have already walked out the stadium, because they keep showing the West Ham fans walking out the stadium.
Oh God, yeah. There was a big the commentator kept going on about it, didn't he? There's like a whole block that was empty with about 10 minutes to go, and then it's like, it's about right, isn't it? Shows the difference between fans and supporters, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But it is what it is. We won, right? Any other business?
don't forget any other business. We've got all the Spurs fans out there. We've got Spurs women playing today. So playing Chelsea away, which is a really tough game. So it's 6:45 GMT, British Standard Time kickoff. Weird kickoff time. I don't know why it's that, but yeah, we need.
We did. I think they don't want to clash with the Premier League games coming up, right? And I watched Spurs play Manchester United. Spurs women play Manchester United, right? It reminded me so much of the men. We got possession, we dominated, we had chances, and we couldn't score. What MU does is go boom, boom, 3 goals, sayonara.
Yeah, and the Man United just had to play a standard, not really any good, but just standard level of football. And they finished their chances. We didn't. If we finish our chances, it's a completely different game. They don't come back into that. So it's a real shame. But yeah, they've got to. I hope it's similar to the Brighton game for the men as it is for the women this week. It just a plain and simple look. You were crap last week. You've got some making up to do, and I hope they come out and do it. And to do it against Chelsea away would be phenomenal. Even just like a.
I think you get a draw.
2-1 win or something.
I think
in a draw away would be a good result.
Good results if you get a draw, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, Chelsea, they're top of the league right now.
Yeah, well, it's changing all the time, but yeah.
I think Chelsea's top of the league at the moment, right? So
yeah, tough game.
So the women's, right? Women's game, guys. Go up and support the women's, and of course, another business, right? The Liverpool Chelsea tonight. You watching it?
Probably. Yeah, I think I will. Yeah.
That should be a good one.
I think that'll be another fight. I think that'll be another fight, that one.
Yeah, that should be a good game coming up, right, guys? But plugs, guys. I think next week, let's see if Jens is not doing a show. Maybe I'll do one before the game starts at Crystal Palace. But it depends if I'm going out to do another watch along outside. Then it'll be different, right? And most probably I'll be doing my midweek preview review show again, right? Coming up this Wednesday or Tuesday. Let's see how that goes. I'll get on Keshaf, the West Ham fan, on again if he's coming on. Right, let's see whether he's still. Now, you must understand, Simon. Keshaf has been doing shows with me for nearly over a year, and that whole period of time, right? Even after Moyes, right, won them a Conference League Cup, right? He was Moyes out, right? So now he's got Moyes out, and he's got Lopetegui in. Let's see how he handles it.
How's that working out for you?
Yeah. My question is that now, will West Ham fans, right, give Lopetegui time to build his team? That's all.
No, because look at them during the game. It was 90% empty with 10 minutes to go on their side.
That's true. Yeah. But guys, thanks for being on. Don't forget, hit the like, hit the subscribe for Spurs Vision TV, hit the subscribe for RickyVillaTV, right? And of course, right, hit the like, share, right? We'll be back soon. We'll catch up again. All right, guys. Take care.
Come on, you Spurs.
Leave you out.